That thumbnail is hilarious. Try to get this correct. All right. So let's get right into it. You know what I'm saying? Um, Today I I decided to sunbathe, to bask in the sun. You know what I mean? I decided to sunbathe. Like my spirit, my soul was calling for me to do it. Like take the shirt off, take the pants off, joints. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't by no beach, so I kind of just went on my little balcony and got busy. But it felt good, man, to absorb Ra and his glory and to just feel, that those solar rays on my chest, on my torso, on my abdomen, because that part is covered up for the most part, unless you just out here, on some super fit shit, diesel, or if you're a female, just on some whatever. But for the most of us, what I'm saying, us average folks, what I'm saying, we kind of have shirts on all the time, you know what I mean? To be honest. But yeah, man. So I'm just gonna share some of the experiences, or some aspects of the experience that I had as I was doing it. Um, I had took my crystals with me. Had a glass of water. You know what I'm saying? I had a handful of crystals too. A handful had some moldavite one hand, and I had some agate, had some red jasper, I had some tiger's eye, I had some citrine, I had some green jasper or bloodstone. Those Yeah, bloodstone. Um, I had some lapis, um, and I had some amethyst. Um, yep. So so that's what I was working with. So, anyways, yeah, man, I stayed out there. I don't know how long I stayed out there. I probably stayed out there too long, to be honest. Um, but it was fire, man. It was dope. Um, Going through the meditation process. Of course, I had the clutter, but a couple of things happened that I kind of want to touch on. Um, as I was going through the meditation process and I was sitting there, I started to feel uh, the melanocytes rise to the skin, to the surface level of the skin. I can feel it. I was paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Now, this isn't anything that is special or anything you know, that doesn't happen to anyone else. But normally, when we're outside and we're exposed to the sun, we're actually 9 times out of 10 doing some type of activity. And if we're out there for a prolonged amount of time, we're not really consciously trying to feel the rising of the melanocytes to the surface level of the skin. We're not most of the time thinking about that, right? But as of consciously, specifically going to meditate in the sun, it was easier to feel that. Not only easier to feel that, but easier to connect the thought to it, and easier to connect the intention and to program the melanocytes. This is how you supercharge your body. This is how you become stronger. This is how you become like a superhero. It's connecting the thought and the intention to the physical form. You know what I'm saying? But that's for a different video. You know what I mean? But as I can feel the melanocytes rising to the surface of the skin, it brought an overwhelming sense of joy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and if you do decide to do it, just stay conscientious. stay aware of that and try to tap into that feeling um, and have the intent of programming the melanocytes to do whatever you want them to do. This is called using a technique of quantum entanglement, um, for those who want the science behind it. You know what I'm saying? So as I was going through that process, I noticed something, and this has happened before, but as a child, you know what I'm saying? As I was there in the sun, feeling the warmth of the sun, I started to get chills, meaning I started to get goosebumps, right? So goosebumps are something a reactive a reaction that the body has when it comes to kind of protecting itself. So this is how you know that the body is functioning correctly, but it's also connected to the nerves. So what that told me was, as I was getting goosebumps by sitting in the sun, that my nerves were activating. They were firing. So if you're in the sun and you get the goosebumps, that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Usually, you probably feel this a lot if you go swimming. You know what I'm saying? You kind of probably attribute that to the water, but nah, it's the sun. You know what I'm saying? It's the sun. Um, Remember that the sun is the source of light codes. You know what I'm saying? It's the source of light codes. And it takes a certain amount of time for each particle. Every single particle that gets emanated from the sun, it takes a certain amount of time before it reaches the earth. So it's some say, I should look it up. I should look it up right now. I'll leave you guys to get the exact time on that, um, but usually we're moving around, um, you know, and so the particles that are getting emanated from the sun are the ones that have been on their way to the earth through the whole process of hitting the earth's atmosphere, tapping into the resonance of the earth's atmosphere, trickling its way down through all the spheres, ionosphere, atmosphere, troposphere, all the spheres. They trickle down, penetrate to the air molecules around you, penetrating your skin. So when you're moving around, you're absorbing the sun particles that have been on their way. But when you're sitting still and you're consciously connecting to Ra, it is very um, beneficial to stay in one place and absorb the ones that you're connecting with. So that means that you kind of have to stay there for some time, whether it be an hour, whether it be however long it takes for the particles to actually arrive from the sun to the earth. I mean, yeah, from the sun to the earth. And the reason why I'm not giving a number out there is because who the fuck really knows? They can tell us anything. You know what I'm saying? And based off the research that I've done before, the number fluctuates and changes. So that's why I said I'm gonna leave it to you guys to uh, find that information out for you. And even if it fucking matters, it don't matter because depending on the person that's receiving the light waves, man, you might be able to tap into the sun at the speed of light instantly. So there is no numbers. There's no right or no wrong way to this. You know what I'm saying? To any of this esoteric, occult, metaphysical shit. You know what I'm saying? Because results may vary. You feel me? But nonetheless, so you know, so I was receiving light codes, man, tapping in, and as the time was going by, I was dumping my crystals into the glass of water because sometimes when you're meditating, your grip is kind of loose because you be kind of relaxed, you know. So I didn't want to drop the crystals and shit, so I started dumping them at intervals into the water. And what I realized is that as I was doing that, I realized in my meditation I was actually connecting into elements. You know what I'm saying? I started connecting in the elements. I started to connect into the earth element because there was some money trees or some plants that was behind me. So I immediately start connecting into the earth element. At some point during the meditation, the wind starts swirling. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that I caused the breeze, but when you're tapped in, man, you'll be surprised about the abilities that you actually have. You know what I'm saying? And you can call this pseudoscience if you want to, but for those who work with elements or tap into the elementals, you guys understand that you can call upon the elements as your ancestors as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fact. That's facts. So then the wind started to tap in, and I connected to the wind. You know what I'm saying? Because it was weird, because there was no wind. It's hot as fuck out here. There's no wind. So or it could be because I'm kind of high up. It doesn't matter. So the wind tapped in, and then I'm like, okay, and then I connected to the water. Now I didn't even bring the water out there to connect with it like that, but when you're in a meditative state, things start to get real clear to you. So I connected with the water, the wind, the earth, and then the sun was acting as fire, the fire element. So I was all four elements in, five elements in when you talk about the mental planes and we talk about the ethers, you know what I'm saying? So I was five elements in, total submerged into the consciousness, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, it was just a real interesting experience, man. Especially the part about getting the chills, man. That was just some dope shit. Um, One thing that was really interesting that happened. So after I was dumping my crystals into the water, I was saving the moldavite for last. I had three moldavite pieces. So I was saving the moldavite for last, and I was doing like one by one. So then I had to. Well, when I put the first one into the water, which I shouldn't have put it in the water with the rest of the pieces, but it's okay. So I put it in the water, and I closed my eyes. This is what's interesting, right? So I put it in the water, and then I closed my eyes again. When I closed my eyes, the the imprint of the light from the moldavite was stained into um, my closed sight. So like if you look at something or some type of light source and you close your eyes, you can kind of see it. I did that with the moldavite, and it's in my closed sight. It was green. So the sun, the water, and the moldavite imprinted in my closed sight, and I can see it, blood. It was fucking dope as shit. It was dope as shit. It was dope as shit. It just let me know that Moldavite is the real shit. It's the real deal. It's the real deal, man. And I kind of was just, after a different interval of time, I dumped the other Moldavite in, and then after so long, I dumped the last piece of Moldavite in, and then just kind of just stayed connected with Raw. Stayed connected with Raw, and I was thinking about at some point, because when you're meditating, things get real timeless, Then I started thinking about at some point, like, man, is this what some sun worshiping is about, or what it was really about in ancient times, That's probably how a lot of information was brought down, And I mentioned this before. You put your prayers, you put your requests up to the sun, and you harvest them through the moon. So I kind of got that popping as well. Do have some appreciations, do have some love, some reverence. Paid homage to Ra because I said this before. I'll say it again. If Ra can rise every day, then you can do anything. You know what I'm saying? If that sun can rise and nurture the entire world, um, you're part of that world. So if that's happening, then you can tap into that exact same energy. You know what I'm saying? And that's a fact. Um, but yeah, paying homage and reverence to Ra, man. You know what I'm saying? And I guess I was just tapped into my ancient ancestral ritualistic shit. You know what I'm saying? Moldavite, JC33, Moldavite, with a V, like Victor, Moldavite. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. So I just wanted to share that experience, man, and this is kind of coming off the heels of the heat waves are caused by earth changes video, you know what I'm saying? And one thing that I forgot to mention in that video that I'm just going to go ahead and amend with this video is not ready to tap into that energy. Joy of Music says that she's not ready to tap into the Moldavite energy, man. You ready? It ain't all that. Just don't go off of what other people say. Just um, experience it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Shit, sleeping tapping into any crystal is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, just as an amendment to heat waves are signs of Earth energy. Video. One thing that I didn't talk about is the fact or the question. It's not even the fact. It's just the question of um, the variance of the light photons or sun particles as they trickle down and as they condensate their way through the atmospheres or the tropic spheres or what all the spheres, and actually when they actually do hit the levels to where you and I can absorb them, it's really really interesting that the friction of the particles when they hit your skin create heat. So that's where the heat comes from, is the friction of the particles hitting your skin, and so you feel warmth, but the particles are at a certain distance and more so at a certain speed. So that's what's creating the heat that you feel from the sun. But when you stand in the shade, this is just a question I'm just posing to the family. When you stand in the shade, the same particles are hitting you, right, at the same speed, give or take, but you're not as warm or it's not as hot. You're in the shade. That's why shade is shade. So it made me ask or pose the question, what the fuck is shade? What is that? What is shade? What is that? Is that a peak or a rip or a tear into the structure of light? You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is shade? Because you shouldn't be, yeah. Jenny A says shadow. Yeah, but shade is a shadow. See, and that's deep. Yeah, it's a shadow. But what is a shadow? Why does it the shadow self? That's deep. That's deep. That's some deep shit. Right? But it changes. Oh shit. Yo. Damn. I just I just got a download. So the shadows change the velocity, speed, or even the friction of the sun particles. That's why it's not as hot when you're in the shade or when you're in the shadows. So shadows are just versions of darkness that are peeking through the light. Because think about it, space is the ultimate shadow. What is space made out of? Melanin. What is melanin? A conductor, is amongst other things, of electricity, heat, so on and so forth. So shadows are, ooh, that's deep, yo. So shadows can be used. Damn. Shadows can be used. But for what? We'll save that for another video. We'll dive deep into that. I gotta ponder on that. I gotta ponder on that one. What is a shadow? But this video seems like we're creeping close to a sun video, huh? We talking about heat waves. We talking about sunbathing. Sound like we getting close. I know y'all like, nigga, you been saying that shit for 20 years. JC33 says bouncing off of light, the shadows. Possible. That's what I'm saying. I gotta ponder more on that. I'm not gonna sit up here and start spewing shit. You know what I'm saying? Without the proper see that, leave me alone. Without the proper attention that it deserves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I definitely gotta sleep on that one. Yeah, man. But today was a good one. Highly recommended, man. You know what I'm saying? Highly recommended. Mila says yes. The sun video, please. Listen, man. I don't want to sound like an asshole. I don't want to sound like an asshole. I don't. I really, really don't want to sound like an asshole. And I know at times the things I say can be misconstrued as asshole type shit. It's only because I'm very, very frank and very, very unfiltered. But it's not that I'm an asshole. But it's just the timing of the sun video. You know what I'm saying? It's just the timing and the work that I already know that it's going to actually take that. Because it won't be one video. No, it's impossible. And I'm not going to do no Brother Panic on y'all and give y'all a 7-8 hour video. Because y'all not going to watch that shit. You're going to thumb through the shit. You're going to skip. And it makes no sense to do a video that you're just going to skip. Or, you know what I'm saying? So I'll just break it up in segments and have different segments. You know, put one on this channel or put a few on this channel. Put a few on the other channel and put a few on the website or something like that. You know, so I'll break it up so it won't just be like tedious because it'll be a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? What? Thank you, I appreciate that. It'll just be a lot of information, and then I won't be doing it, for any type of views or any type of monetary gain because I'm gonna have to use visual aids and shit like that, so it won't be monetized. So you know what I'm saying, and I won't even be thinking that it will get a lot of views because that's not even the point. You know what I'm saying? You already see how YouTube does my views, anyways. So it will just be really specifically just for y'all, for the few. I don't even know. You know what? I don't even know how many people actually watch these videos because I don't even know if I even trust the YouTube counter. I don't know if I do. Because I thought, and this is me sidebarring, I thought that, hey, maybe only a couple of hundred people are tuned in now out of, the couple of thousand. But when I look at the comments, no. It's weird, man, but like I said, it's going to take some time and some effort, and I don't know, man. I might do some Patreon shit and just like start putting shit exclusively on Patreon and see how bad y'all really want the video. Like if y'all really want it, then you know what I'm saying, put it out there, then y'all could just purchase it or whatever. Thank you, Jenny. I really appreciate you. Mila, appreciate you. C. Dot, appreciate you. Jay, appreciate you. Joy, appreciate you. So, Omni Fox, appreciate you. Well, all right, man. I've set up here and I have rambled for almost 25 minutes. A lot longer than I expected, but that's cool. Y'all came out to rock with me late night, so peace, and I love y'all. I'm gone.